Welcome, Courageous Cause Champion. This is Lainey Frydrych. Today's episode 4 of the Couch to 5A podcast. Today I thought I would dive in a little bit deeper into one of the items that we talked about yesterday, which was the original chart that I put together post November 2016 election. You may remember that I told you that I was a career banker turned entrepreneur, and that I had identified 5 levels of food concern, and I had categorized them into 101, 201, 301, 401, and 501. And I was hoping to sell more vegan dinners and help people, help animals, help the planet, and what I consider needless suffering of chronic illnesses and livestock and the environment. So I really wanted to feel successful at this. And then the November 2016 election happened. And I'm sure you remember how you felt that day as the results came in. I know I was angry, upset, afraid, confused, didn't know where to start, what I could do. So the weekend right after the election, I started sketching out the 5 levels with respect to getting involved in politics to figure out how could I get involved with this. And I know this is really hard to read, so I'm going to read some of them off for you myself. One of the examples is to start off with identifying your government officials. I didn't even really know who all my elected officials were, so that was a step that I took under 201, which is nurture yourself with a supportive network. Oh, you know what I'm going to go to? So this is an easier way to see the levels that were on that chart that were too light to see. So the first middle level is to protect yourself with self-care. That's pretty self-explanatory, and I didn't elaborate on it when I was making that initial chart. Then I figured, kind of like where with the food, when we go from, neck up, at the 101 level, 201 was, below the neck. So you want to support yourself with a network, the network of people that are around you that are like-minded. So an example would be to volunteer with to identify your government officials. Then the third level, grow your advocacy within your existing contacts, is where your footprint starts to expand a little bit. This would be where maybe you volunteer with your government officials that you support to get familiar with the campaigns and what goes on behind the scenes with the campaigns. Then the next level would be multiply with your leadership in your community and your state, for example, on this chart that I came up with. So that might be to campaign to be a government official or try to get an appointed position locally. And then the last level is 501, defend your cause nationally and internationally. And that could be becoming a government official. It could be the very last thing that someone could do, the highest level within whatever level they want to get to. So that's what I did after the election. I just sat down and I brainstormed a bunch of things where people could, volunteer, then recruit other volunteers, then be a volunteer coordinator, then to coordinate an event, so that I could see for myself the progression that someone goes from, their head under the covers on the couch to being the people out in the public. And I ended up eventually changing the name of that largest category to champion your cause instead of defend your cause, because defend sounded too confrontational to me. I really want to teach people how to advocate for something instead of against something, which means that I want you to champion a particular cause. So that's it for today, a brief overview of the 5 levels and sort of the progression that those took at the beginning. of forming the 5 levels of the advocacy chart, and we definitely go through these levels in great detail in the Couch to 5A training plan. So I'm looking forward to teaching you it then. Namaste.